Hi Taurus, here is a general look at your solar chart for July 2015. And until the 23rd, the Sun is in a really sociable area for you, meeting and greeting, connecting with others. That's more likely to have your attention, and maybe sharing information, sourcing information, just gossiping, and that kind of interaction with others. But also you could have more in your mind as well. Mars is in that same area there, and that will be accelerating your mental processing, firing up your grey cells, maybe not backwards and coming forwards, with giving your opinion and getting things off your chest with a kind of force, really, and also you being busier hither and thither, perhaps, that can be working like that. Or you just feel that maybe you're getting a little bit overloaded with how much is coming in your direction for you to get your head around. And it can feel that sometimes with the Mars energy, others are being impatient with you, over assertive with you. But on the other hand, they can feel that you are doing that with them. And your own reactions may be too defensive. So it's, just a word in your ear, really. If you're wanting to settle a feud, then this Mars energy can be quite confrontational in the communications area there. In general, there could be more correspondence, more to deal with in that sort of way, and also with communications type equipment, including vehicles. But you start to feel more confident about things, you feel more decisive about things in general, and you can be clearer, you can be more proactive with communications, education, anything to do with media, anything to do with promotions, negotiations, or just simply speaking up for yourself in a way that people are really going to take notice, okay? But you might need to deliberately soften it down a little bit. You have Mercury moving out of this sort of busy mental area and spending most of the month, although Mercury does flit around a lot this month, in this, well, first of all, Mercury starts off in a very sort of practical area. So your head is sort of revolving around the practicalities of how can I improve the piggy bank, how can I improve the garden, how can I figure this thing out or that thing out in a practical sort of way. Maybe the information that you're gathering is for a practical end, buying, selling, renting, leasing. It's all the area of the material side of your life, material security, but also that is to do with useful resources, like the garden, the plant pots on the windowsill, but also your own skills, your own abilities, your own inborn talents, your own knacks. You have a knack for doing something, and maybe during this time here, one of the things you're figuring out is how you can get the most out of what you're quite good at, or what you would be good at if you just developed it more. And also you might be thinking about what is of most value to you now. That is another thing. And then Mercury spends most of the month, that's the 9th to 24th, in a very sort of gossipy, chatty, conversational mood, but also to do with speaking and writing, to do with developing speaking and writing skills, but also other skills which are more creative and self-expressive, perhaps. And just learning stuff and connecting with people, maybe old acquaintances or new ones. And then from the 24th, the mental focus could revolve more around the family, the past, and feeling a bit nostalgic, harking back to the past there, feeling a bit more sensitive as well. Or it might not be like that. It might be about location, geographical place on the map. It could be about property matters. And this is your sort of the windmills of your mind are kind of whizzing around all of that sort of stuff. But Mars and the Sun are very, very strongly accelerating the mental processes. So you could be feeling quite fragmented, particularly up until the 9th as well, with all of that Mercury energy flying around. Now you do have both Jupiter and Venus at the root of the chart. And apart from July the 19th to August the 1st, when she makes a brief visit into a more fun-orientated, playful area, more creative area, perhaps romantic for some of you area, or perhaps it is simply that you are doing something which you get a lot out of, and it's the area of children as well. She makes a little sortie out there, but for most of the time, between now actually and October, Venus is giving you underfloor heating in a way. It's just bringing some equilibrium, some harmony into the roots of your life, and you can manifest like that. It can manifest as you finding that you are appreciating more where you are, or the people you're with, or you're appreciating family more. You're getting more out of family than you have been doing. Or it could be that you have access to an environment which you prefer, or it could be a little sort of mixture of them all. But overall, it encourages a more emotional, balanced, a harmonious time at home, welcoming others into your space or visiting others in theirs. And it could be that you have sort of meetups with people as well more often. And it could also be a good time to settle a feud if there's been something going on sort of historically as well. As I say, Jupiter is in there also. Now the pair of them have a little run-in with Saturn this month. So this is for your information. From the 10th onwards, Saturn is kind of doing a little bit of a slow dance with Venus, so maybe having to watch your P's and Q's in some relationships, or having to tread a finer line, or just feeling a bit frustrated and limited related to a certain relationship, or maybe it is to do with having to be persevering in some sort of business type relationship, or it might be a personal relationship, and you will just have to be more self-reliant because you perhaps don't feel as supported as you would like, and it's not the best time to go dipping into the piggy bank financially either. There it will just be more strung out because there will be more obstacles to overcome probably, but there could be obstacles to overcome to do with family or neighborhood or kind of a community of some kind. And then Jupiter goes over Saturn, and you feel that one from the 21st onwards, and that's on into August. And certain decisions, certain paths that you set your foot on maybe 7 years ago, about 7 years ago, now coming up to be tested and reviewed. And if you're feeling something with its roots that far in the past, or maybe the consequence of that time in your past isn't allowing you the scope you'd like, is chronically tiring you out, or you're just feeling as though, again, you are a bit squeezed by this, and it might be your own attitude as well, then it may be time with this Saturn transit over Jupiter to let it go. Well, they're transiting over each other really, then the next time this comes around, you won't feel even more squeezed and restricted because you haven't let go of something. You haven't let go, maybe to do with the past. And it could be material possessions as well. So, but also with this transit, if you're not too much in a hurry and you pace yourself, then you should be successful. But there is a feeling of letting go, because we have the other transit going on, which is to do with Pluto going over the Sun and also Uranus going over the Sun. Now, as you are not a cardinal sign, you are not at the pointy end here where you are really getting the brunt of this, but it could in general be a slightly more pressured time, a slightly tenser time, and that is actually more towards the beginning of the month. So there are these little kind of blips on the screen. The Pluto one is between the 5th and the 7th, and for you, you have Pluto in a really, really supportive angle to your sun sign. And then we have the Uranian one between the 11th and the 14th, maybe a little bit on the edge of your seat there. Maybe the unexpected is happening there and it kind of takes you aback. But I don't think it would be a major thing, not from your sun sign chart anyway, although there could be other things going on in your natal chart with cardinal points or cardinal planets. But the one really for you to pay most attention to, I think, is the Saturn transit over, well, the Venus and Saturn transit and the Jupiter and Saturn transit, which I've just described to you. And then we have this really nice one coming just into the end of the first week, which has been going on all throughout June. The Uranus-Jupiter transit supporting breaking with the past or breaking into something new and fresh and constructive, and that sort of has you kind of tingling with expectation and excitement. And, you know, there could be a light bulb moment. There could be something that just you see the potential of it, because that aspect there, which has been running since a little bit of May and throughout June, and then into this little bit of July, has huge potential. Okay, so if you get up into that slipstream of the higher frequency, of the positive energy, of the optimism there, then of course it will mean that all else that is going on will be the channeling through of the energy will be that much easier, really. The kind of, you know, palatable, more palatable, and then you see the potential of what is going on, because of course whatever it is that's going on, there's always a bigger picture. Even though, you know, when we fall down and bruise our knees or hit our head on a brick wall, we don't see it immediately, but there is always the bigger picture, and that one, the Uranus-Jupiter one, is going to help you to see that. And even though the transit ends there in the end of the, it's pretty much petered out by the end of the first week, a little bit of the second week maybe, we could stretch a point there. What you've made of it, though, from the previous bit, you will be able to bring with you. Anyway, that's the theory. Okay, so we're down here to be practical and to sort of apply the theories and see how well they work, I guess. From the 23rd, the Sun moves and then goes into the same area as Venus and Jupiter are in, apart from that little bit where Venus moves out of there between the 19th of July and the 1st of August. And that highlights property matters, buying, selling, renting, leasing, the garden, a space inside, a family, the neighborhood, or maybe you're not at home, maybe you're somewhere else. So it just brings more of your attention onto those sorts of things, and you pondering the past a little bit more for some of you, and definitely feeling things a little bit more deeply. And this is a time when those from the past, especially with Venus around and Jupiter there, you know, this energy amounts to there being a positive interchange with others, definitely. And then Saturn returned to your opposite sign and is there until September. And that position of Saturn is ultimately constructive because you're bringing it all together now with this last pass of Saturn through the very end degrees of Scorpio. If you happen to be a late Taurus, you'll be feeling this one the most. In fact, you Taurians born 18th to 21st or with from 27 degrees rising are going to be feeling it the most. And this is you having to work harder at balancing your point of view with where others are coming from. Whatever your opinion is, that is where they're coming from. And you have to maybe might feel a lack. You might feel lack of support. You might feel lack of companionship. You might feel a lack of understanding, a lack of my sort of people, or my kind of, my kind of gal, my kind of guy, that kind of thing. And there are clashes there, possibly because you feel somebody's behavior is unreasonable. You can feel a bit inhibited. So the order of the day is compromise, cooperation, collaboration, and cultivating, because some relationships will be worth cultivating, very much so, and you'll be learning a lot from them, and really glad you did when you look back over your shoulder in years to come. Yes, some relationships will fall by the wayside, but then other relationships which need cultivating, which need sort of steadily building upon, will be beneficial to you. And then I've already mentioned Jupiter. Jupiter is in your home area, meaning that some of you might even expand your home space, annex or an add-on of some kind, or indeed end up somewhere where you do just have more space, physically more space, a better view or whatever it is, or maybe you're just getting more access to somewhere which makes you feel that you've got more space to breathe, and you'll feel a sense of belonging gradually with this transit, although this transit hasn't got very far to run now because it's coming out of there in August. But when it does come out of there in August, it will go into Virgo, which will put this planet Jupiter in a very good angle for your with your sun sign for about a year. You Taurians born the 2nd to the 7th of May, or with 20 to 29 degrees rising, are going to feel that energy the most this forecast period. And that's it for July. If you know your rising sign and your moon sign, listen to those. And if you want to read this stuff, it's all up on my website. The basic information is on my website, so check it out. And that's DianaGarland.com. And I'll see you the next time.